Hey all, welcome back to another video, another quick update regarding my Honda Clarity. This was a battery range test that I decided to do to compare how accurate or inaccurate the guess meter, saying the EV range in your cluster is versus the actual mileage. So what I did is I reset my trip B meter down to 0. And I went ahead and just drove the car like I normally would on a daily basis. At the beginning of the day, now mind you, there are different factors that are very important. Outside temperature is very important. The way you drive is important. The type of commute. So with that being said, I do mostly city driving to get to work. It's not full on city. There's not a whole lot of what's the word, bumper to bumper traffic or anything like that. But there are several traffic lights, and in the distance from home to work, it's actually 23.7 miles. That's kind of like my halfway point. So if you round it up, it's basically 24 miles. So a round trip is 48 miles, which is literally the perfect range, considering the Clarity has a 47 electric range, so that's one of the reasons why I got the Clarity. But interesting findings here. Of course, the temperature right now here in Florida, it's very nice. When I left in the morning, the temperature was around 67 degrees Fahrenheit, which equates to around 19 degrees Celsius. So very nice temperature. And my Eevee guess meter on the cluster indicated 63.6 miles, which is equal to 102 kilometers. So again, a very nice range considering my car already knows my habits. Again, I do city driving for the most part of my daily commute, so I have a lot of opportunities to do regen braking and use the paddles and whatnot. So I would say my average speed, it's probably around from 35 to 45 miles an hour for my daily commute. So definitely I'm not hard on the gas or anything like that. So or on the pedal, if you know what I mean. So anyways, when I left home, 63.6, that was the gas meter. When I got to work, which is my halfway point, the trip meter indicated 23.7 miles, and my Eevee guess meter said 36.7. It should have been 39.9. Like if I take my original guess value minus the true distance to work, it should have been 39.9. But then you can see that the guess meter was a little bit wrong against me in that regard. But anyway, not to bore you guys with the details and all that, I'm just gonna throw you my results. At the end of the day, in the morning, granted, the temperature was 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Back when I got back home later in the afternoon, it was already a little bit more warmer. So the temperature went up all the way to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 27 degrees Celsius. So when I got back home, I still had, let's see, let me check my cheat sheet here. My total mileage was 47.5 from to work and coming back, but I still had some miles left. I still have 14.2 miles in my guess meter. So even though I got back to home, I decided to drive around a little bit just to go all the way down to 0 to see how much I could drive. And the final number when my EV indicator reached 0 was 60.1 miles. So very impressive. Again, temperature plays a big role, so the temperatures are really nice now. And the fact that I was able to get 60.1 miles, which equates to around 97 kilometers, I think. I think that's a very good value considering it's advertised to be 47. Of course, when the temperatures are very cold and when the temperatures are very hot, the range, it's supposed to be worse. So I'm really excited to run this test in different temperatures throughout the year, and I'll be reporting back. Especially that I live here in Florida, the summers are very hot, obviously. So I'm curious to see how the Clarity is going to fare in our very hot and humid summers. So just to round it up, I was able to get 60.1 miles using city driving under very nice temperatures. So no surprises there. I was able to exceed the advertised 47 miles range by Honda. Important to note that my gas tank was almost empty. So the car was, I guess, lighter than normal, if you will. So I don't know if that had a huge effect or not, but and the funny thing is, once my test was over, obviously the car kicked into the HV mode. It was using gas, and my low fuel light came on. So that prompted me to do my first fill up, but I'll do another video with some details regarding my first fill up. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna put the videos that I took showing the readings in the car, just to have proof, so you guys believe me. I don't know. I figured I would give the results up front in case you guys don't want to be bored with me showing the dashboard and whatnot. But if you guys are interested, just keep looking, and you'll see all the details that I just talked about in I guess in real time, if you will. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all later. Alright guys, we're about to start my battery range test. These are my initial stats here. The estimated EV range that I have left is 63.6 miles. And the outside temperature is actually lower than 78. I'm gonna be recording that and posting what the actual outside temperature is, among other stats. So what I'm gonna do is gonna go to trip B, reset it, and then see how many miles, real miles, we get driving when all the way until the EV range gets to 0. So I'll report later with the results. Thanks. So I just got to work, which is obviously my halfway point mostly for the day, and these are the stats so far. 23.7 miles, that's the distance from home to work. As you can see, the outside temperature is around 67 degrees Fahrenheit, and the EV range estimation is at 36.7. So I'll report back when I go back home, and I'm gonna drive obviously a little bit farther just to see how many total miles we get versus that estimated EV range stat. So yeah, I'll report back in a few seconds. Alright, just wanted to say that I'm getting ready to head home. I just got off work here. It's the afternoon, and I was just recording a little bit here to see if there was any vampire drain during the 8+ hours that I was during work. But as you can see, the EV range is still the same as when I came here early this morning. Temperature is a little bit higher now. 81 degrees. I'm assuming it's a little bit cooler, just because the car has been sitting here in the parking lot. But as soon as I start moving, I'm sure the temperature is going to drop. So one thing that I noticed is that when I started this morning, the range was 63.6 in the EV range, and then my actual miles that I drove to work were 23.7, which means that I should have gotten 39.9 based on a perfect estimation by the car. That just goes to show that the car overestimated a little bit, and I got a little bit of a worse range that was anticipated. So with that being said, I'm gonna head home now and drive a little bit more to see how many more miles I can get before the EV range goes to 0. So just a quick update here. I just got back home from work, and the EV range estimator is at 14.2 EV miles, and as you can see, the total distance so far has been 47.5 miles. The temperature is a little bit higher, so I'll be reporting back when I get more mileage.
Alright guys, we came to an end to the experiment that I ran here. As you can see, my Eevee miles ran all the way down to 0. And actually that's the total miles that I got, 60.7. However, my EV range hit 0 around 60.1. I was still driving, so I was trying to pull over to a safer place, and what better place to stop at my local AAA, where they have, I don't know if you guys can see there, a level 2 free charge point charger. So I'm gonna charge up here, and again the true mileage that I was able to get was 60.1 miles, not 60.7. And another interesting thing here, that extra half a mile that I drove was enough to trigger my first low fuel warning light. So I'm gonna have to, for the first time, put some gas in the car since I bought it. So since we're here, let me just change to the trip meter there. 2550, that's miles. That's gonna be around the mileage that I'm gonna put gas. So yeah, I'll do a follow-up just to share my thoughts and share a little bit more information as to the conditions that I took this test on.